Okay, welcome to my next video. I'm still working out of this box making book, bandsaw box making book. This in his book he calls it, I'm not going to do this exactly, this is kind of the inspiration, calls this a stack and swivel box. He made these three little boxes with drawers, and he's got them on dowels that they swivel. All right, I'm not sure I'm going to do that, but I've used this as inspiration for my own version of this. He has another area here in the book where he shows how he cuts his boxes like this, and I'm going to use that procedure and I'm going to change it slightly. What I've got here is some scraps that I have glued together. Each one of these has 6 pieces glued together. I've milled them down, made them basically the same size. There's some slight differences. I got them mostly square and cubical. I had to get a little different scrap for this one, so it looks a little different, and it's a little larger, but that's not going to matter. They're not going to have to match, I don't think. But again, I'm taking his procedure, changing it to fit my own ideas here, and this may not work, but it won't take long to find out, I don't think. So anyway, what these blocks are, these 6 pieces, were waste out of drawers I cut on another project. So I glued them back together, except for these top and bottom layers here. I had to add a little bit in. I glued them back together. I'm going to make a complete box and drawer out of this. But instead of, he didn't cut the front, I'm going to cut the front. You see I got it scored right there with a marking gauge at 3/16 on all of these. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut that off. And that's going to be the front of the drawer. And then I'm going to come in and do another, I'm going to score it again over here on each side and cut those 2 sides off. And that's going to be the side walls of the little cabinet. So then I'm going to come in and I'm going to cut the block that comes out of the middle there. I'm going to cut in it. I'm going to make a drawer out of that I can slide in and out. And then I'll glue the sides back on and then the front back on the drawer. I don't know if that's going to work. I'm visualizing it as working great, but then you run into something that you didn't plan on sometimes. But I've run this through my mind. I've made drawings on my little pad, and I think this is going to work. It's a little different way of making a box. I've never done anything like this. But then I'll see if I do a stack and swivel with it. Don't have a lot of room. When I get through, I can leave some on the bottom, I guess. It depends on how I cut that inner drawer. I may leave enough that I can stack and swivel it. But right now, I'm just going to cut the first one, and then that'll determine how I cut the second 2. So let me get a new blade in my saw. I'm going to cut that with a 9, I believe. And this is all pine, or I think that may be fir or some of that, but it's still relatively soft wood. So I had to make it these sizes. His were larger, but to be able to cut it on a scroll saw, I had to get it down to under 2.5 inches. All right, actually they're a little under 3 inches, some of them, but depending on which direction you go and cut first. So let me get it to the saw and see if I can cut these, or if I'm gonna have to make some adjustments. All right, so far so good. That cut very nicely. Now I'm going to cut these 2 sides off. That'll give me the area I'm going to cut the drawer out of. Let me cut this, see if this works. Going with the grain on this may be a little more difficult. Okay, I got both of those sides cut off. They did pretty well. So the second side didn't track as well top to bottom. That's one reason I wanted to score them. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's It's off the bottom score just a little bit. I thought that might help it track, but it's not much and it's not enough to hurt anything. So now I'm going to cut this out, and that's going to be the drawer. That's my plan right now. And I'll cut that out, and I'll have to cut the center out of it also. But right now I'm going to cut this out, and I'm leaving it up top and bottom so I can put those dowels in to make it a stack and swivel box, hopefully. I'll see when we get there. I'm leaving 3/8 top and bottom so I can drill in a 1/4 inch or so. Not sure if that's going to be good or right, but that's what I'm going with for now. So let me see if I can cut this out without messing it up. Okay, so far so good. I had a little bit of trouble with the blade on that one. Had to change out almost halfway through. And then I had trouble getting it in where it would not bang on the top of the piece. That's how close I am on my width for cutting here. But now I've got the drawer body out. I'm going to cut the bottom off of it. And that's going to be the bottom of the drawer. I've already cut the front. And I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to cut it out here to put the sides, to leave the sides in the back for the drawer sides and back. So, but right now I got to cut the bottom off it. Okay, that came off okay. Now this is the drawer body itself. This will be the sides and the back. And I'm going to cut the cavity out. Then I'll glue the bottom back on. I've already cut the front. That was the very first cut I made. So let me get this cut out. And I rounded that so it'll be a little easier to turn in there. Of course, as I'm getting thinner and thinner, it's easier anyway. But let me get this cut. I can start putting the drawer back together. I'm going to glue the front on last probably to match it up with the case, the cabinet. I'll make sure it matches up well. But I'll get the bottom back on it, and we'll see how it looks then. Okay, so I've repeated that process 2 more times. This is the first one that I did. And I did it 2 more times on the other 2 blocks. So what he did was he took from the corner in, he drilled a hole for a 1/4 inch dowel, which I've got some right here. And he stacked them offset like this and left it where they would swivel. And so I'm gonna try that. I'm not sure how that's gonna work out, but I've left enough meat in the top and bottom of that when I cut the drawer out that I could do that. So I'm gonna mark those, drill me a 1/4 inch hole, a 1/4 inch deep, and have the rod, the little dowel, 3/4 of an inch long, so it'll be a 1/4 inch in between each box. So let me mark those, figure out the spots I'm going to put that, and drill the holes and see if I can make it work. Well, after a lot of comparing and cutting pieces and drilling holes, this is what I finally came up with. His original project was you'd have a swivel here and a swivel here, and this box would be free to swivel around. It was just too flimsy. It didn't fit tight enough. They didn't want to sit. I couldn't drill a deep enough hole for them to sit properly. So that's what I ended up doing, and I made me a little template with some paper, make these holes all the same, and I drilled them and glued them up one step at a time, and then I added this over here just for a little support, or I kind of balances it out a little bit. But drawers all work. And trying to make something different, and I believe that fits the bill as being different. And my wife's already got her eye on this because her little ukulele tuner fits perfectly in that drawer. It's like I made it to fit it perfectly. So I'm thinking she might want to confiscate this and sit it over there by her little table where she practices her ukulele. I don't know. If she wants it, I'll certainly let her use it. It's a little different box. It's never done anything quite like that before. And I'm going to continue in this book because I kind of like the way this is going. This is not exactly as he had it planned. I made the whole front of the box, the door front. He didn't do that. He had the drawer inset, which could be done too. And I changed the cutting procedure so I could do it with a scroll saw and cut it the way I wanted to. I've never done one exactly like this before. And I really like it. I may adapt that technique for some other projects. So if you like that, hit the like button. If you're not subscribed, be sure to hit that button, and I'll see what kind of crazy, stupid box I come up with next time. So thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.